ISRO has planned to build separate space stations for both the Earth and the Moon, the first to be launched into Earth's orbit, the third after the ISS and Tiangong, and will be followed by the Moon Space Station, which will also be used for future missions to Mars. Well, here we will talk about these things and see why this is being said. Friends, today's video is going to be much more interesting and informative. That's why you will definitely share this video as much as possible and reach many people, so that more and more people will know about it. Apart from this, you are also requested to watch the video from beginning to end. If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, will build not one but two space stations, one of which will revolve around the Earth and the other will orbit the Moon and explore its secrets. The space station that orbits the Earth will be the third space station in the world after the ISS and China's Tiangong space station, and India will become the second country in the world to do this feat alone. India will be the first country to build a space station. India, which created history by landing Chandrayaan-3 on the Moon's south pole, is ready to leave everyone behind in space research. India, which recently challenged NASA and the European Space Agency by developing its indigenous Hubble, has now started work on its space station. Because the International Space Station will be destroyed in 2030, India's space station can play a big role in space research. Apart from this, India is also preparing to build a Moon space station by 2040. First Gaganyaan and then Indian Space Station. India will work on this mission in a phased manner. It is believed that by 2030, the Indian Space Station can be launched, and India started work on it from 2019, when the then ISRO chairman K. Sivan announced it, under which 4 astronauts will go to Earth's LEO orbit. It is believed that Gaganyaan has to go to the same point in space where India is going to set up its space station, Moon Space Station, after Chandrayaan-4. Before the Moon Space Station, ISRO will also launch the Chandrayaan-4 mission, for which the deadline of 2028 has been set. In this mission, India's spacecraft has to land on the south pole of the Moon and return with samples from there. After this, India is also planning to launch the first human mission to the Moon. India's first manned lunar mission and the launch of the Lunar Space Station will be launched at the same time, with a deadline of 2040. India divides Moon mission into 3 phases. India, which created history with Chandrayaan-3, has divided the upcoming lunar mission into 3 phases, the first phase of which is a robotic mission, in the name of Chandrayaan-4. This mission will be launched, in which the rover and lander will go and bring back samples from the Moon. Its second phase will be the human lunar mission, in which India will land its astronauts on the Moon, and in the last phase, a permanent station orbiting the Moon, so that astronauts can monitor the Moon for 24 hours and stay on the space station and do research on the Moon. This space station can be the base of the human Mars mission. Scientists on board the Moon Space Station will be able to study the Moon and explore the possibility of life on the Moon, and will also serve as a base for future human Mars missions. In such a situation, if India builds a Moon Space Station, then it will prove to be helpful for other countries and space agencies of the world. What is a space station like? A space station is a place in space where astronauts stop and do research. It is in the orbit of the Earth that constantly orbits our planet. So far there are 2 space stations, in which the International Space Station has been built by 15 countries, including the US Space Agency, NASA and Canada. Space agencies from other countries including Russia, Europe are involved, while the second space station is Tiangong, which has been built by China. Both of these space stations are constantly manned by astronauts and do various research about space. After this, when the second astronaut goes there and replaces him, only then can he return to Earth. PM Modi has given a hint. After landing Chandrayaan-3 on the south pole of the Moon, India became the first country in the world, after which PM Narendra Modi praised ISRO and said that the space agency should set new and ambitious goals, including a manned Moon mission and an Indian astronaut to reach the Moon. This technique is used in the space station. NASA is training Indian astronauts. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has selected 4 astronauts: Group Captain Prashant Balakrishnan Nair, Group Captain Ajit Krishnan, Group Captain Angad Pratap, Wing Commander Shubhanshu Shukla, for the Gaganyaan mission being trained by NASA. This was confirmed in a statement issued by the White House at the time. It is being told that by the end of this year, 2 astronauts of India can also be sent to the International Space Station. ISRO to build 2 space stations, India will leave China and NASA behind all. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has recently revealed its ambitious plans, which include the construction of 2 independent space stations. The move aims to put India in a stronger position against big players like China and NASA in the field of space research. Key points related to ISRO's space station. First space station. It will be a small and independent space station. It mainly aims to conduct research and scientific experiments in low Earth orbit, LEO. It is planned to be launched by 2030. Second space station. It will be large and long-term use. It will be designed to provide support in deep space missions such as to the Moon and Mars. It will also include manned missions, which will give a boost to India's Gaganyaan project. India's rank in global competition. China's space program. China has recently successfully established its Tiangong space station and is working on plans to expand it. NASA and international cooperation. NASA SIS's International Space Station is already operational, and it is focusing on new programs such as the Artemis mission. ISRO's efforts will make it competitive in this race, especially thanks to cost-efficient technology and indigenous capabilities. Benefits for India. Scientific research, experiments in medicine, material science and physics in microgravity. Space economy, private sector and startups will be supported. National pride will lead India to becoming a space superpower. Challenges. Huge investment and technical skills required. International competition and potential geopolitical pressures. If ISRO successfully completes these projects, India will not only become self-reliant in the space sector, but will also be an international leader. ISRO's plan to build a space station is a historic and strategic step for India. Let's give more information about its various aspects and possibilities. 1. Importance of space station. So far, India's focus has been mainly on satellites and lunar Mars missions. The space station will enable India to maintain a presence in space for a long time. Expansion of manned mission. After the Gaganyaan mission, India will be able to add new dimensions to manned missions. The space station will provide a permanent platform for science and research to human astronauts. Scientific experiments and innovations. Experiments in microgravity, such as biology, pharmacology, and material science, can open the way to new discoveries. 2. Technical challenges and solutions. Infrastructure requirement. The construction and maintenance of the space station will require large launch vehicles and supplies in space. ISRO is already working on GSLV Mk3 and Reusable Launch Vehicle (RLV). India's upcoming Reusable Launch Vehicle will help in this direction. Autonomy and AI. Autonomous robotic systems, such as space robots and AI systems, will play a key role in the station's maintenance. Modular design for the space station. ISRO will design a modular space station, possibly like China's Tiangong station, which will be expandable with time. 3. Financial and international cooperation. Low-cost success. ISRO is known for economical and effective missions, such as Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan. Similarly, the space station will also be built using cost-efficient techniques. Role of private sector. Private space companies are also emerging in India now, like Skyroot, Agnikul, and Pixel. These companies can collaborate with ISRO. International cooperation. ISRO will have the opportunity to collaborate with organizations like NASA, Russia, the European Space Agency, ESA, and Japan, which can provide technical and scientific support. Underscore 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 underscore. 4. India's place in the global space race. NASA and ISS, International Space Station. The activation of the ISS is likely to end by 2030. In such a situation, the new space station can help make India the only option. China has strengthened its grip in space through its Tiangong station. India's efforts will challenge this. Private space stations. Private institutions like SpaceX and Blue Origin are also developing space stations in the US. ISRO's space station will play an important role in this competition. Underscore 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 underscore. 5. India's space policy and future. Changes in space policy. Recently, India has implemented a new space policy, in which the private sector has been involved. This policy will be helpful in advancing India's space sector rapidly. Space tourism. In the future, India's space station can become a center of space tourism, which will create huge revenue potential. Apart from the space station, ISRO is also working on missions like Chandrayaan 4, Venu's mission, Shukrayaan, and Aditya L1, which will make it the leading space agency in the world. 6. National pride and inspiration. This project will not only showcase India's scientific prowess but will also inspire youngsters to take up careers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It will give confidence to the Indian youth that the country is on its way to becoming a global power in every field. ISRO's space station project does not only mean technological advancement but is a concrete step to fulfill India's dream of becoming a space superpower. This project will make India self-reliant and a world leader in the field of space research. Following the principle that sky has no limits, India's space program is poised to scale new heights. Rocket. If you want to know more, let's take a little more look into ISRO's space stations and the Indian space program. The impact of India's space missions will be immense not only in technical but also strategic, economic, and scientific fields. 1. Design and capability of space stations. ISRO's first space station will be a small, about 20-ton structure, deployed in the low Earth orbit, LEO. It will have the facility to stay for 2 to 3 astronauts for 15 to 20 days. It will be used for scientific research and Earth observation. Second stage space station. It will be a large and long-term space station, which can be ready by 2035 to 2040. It will use advanced technology for long-term support of human life. It will serve as a launchpad for deep space missions, such as colonizing the Moon and Mars. 2. Journey from Gaganyaan to space station. The Gaganyaan mission, India's first manned space mission, is a basic step for ISRO, which will prove human presence in space. After Gaganyaan, ISRO will use these experiences to develop manned space stations. Tests for Gaganyaan. India recently successfully launched TVD-1 test vehicle, which tests the safety and re-entry systems of the Gaganyaan mission. This technology will be important for the space station in the future. 3. Use of space station. Science and technology. The study of the impact of long-term human stay in space. Creation of drugs in microgravity, which is not possible on Earth. Developing new materials in space, such as strong and lightweight materials. Earth observation. Accurate data on climate change, weather and disasters. Mapping and monitoring of natural resources. Astronomy. The study of the deepest mysteries of the universe, such as black holes and dark matter. 4. India's strategic advantage. Space diplomacy. India can use its space station to increase scientific cooperation with countries like Asia and Africa. It will give India a strong place in international diplomacy. Advantage over rival countries. India's space station will be a major weapon to compete with China's Tiangong and NASA's ISS. It will establish India as a space superpower. 5. Economic prospects. Space tourism from the space station. ISRO may use the space station for space tourism in the future, which will increase revenue. To provide space experience to Indian and foreign citizens. Private sector investment. Startups and private companies in India, such as L&T, Godrej Aerospace, can invest in the construction and operation of the space station. Global space market. Renting out space stations to other countries and companies for use. It will give a new direction to India's economy. 6. Challenges and their solutions. Money and resources. The space station project will require billions of dollars. India can resort to public-private partnership (PPP) model for this. Technical barriers. India will have to develop advanced life support systems and technology for repair and construction in space. ISRO can collaborate with foreign agencies. Human safety. A long-term human presence in space will require a robust safety system and health measures. 7. Future roadmap. 2025. Successful manned launch of Gaganyaan mission. 2030. First small space station launched. 2035. India's large, advanced space station becomes operational. 2040 and beyond, deep space missions, colonies on the Moon and Mars. 8. Inspiration for Indian youth. These projects of ISRO will provide new inspiration to Indian students and scientists. It can make India a global hub of STEM education. ISRO's space station project will take India to the pinnacle of technological excellence, global influence and self-reliance. This initiative will not only increase India's strength in space, but through this, every citizen of the country will feel proud. As Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam said, "Dreams are not those which you see while sleeping, dreams are those which do not let you sleep." ISRO is trying to make this dream a reality today. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has planned to build separate space stations for the Earth and the Moon, the third to be launched into orbit around Earth, the third after the ISS and Tiangong, and will be followed by India's Moon Space Station. With this ambitious plan of ISRO, India is ready to reach a new height in the field of space research and space technology. The plan to develop separate space stations for the Earth and the Moon will not only bring India forward in the global space race, but will also lay a solid foundation for future deep space missions. Highlights of ISRO's space station project. 1. Space Station, LEO station in Earth's orbit. This space station will be installed in low Earth orbit, LEO. It will be mainly useful for scientific research in microgravity, Earth observation, and astronaut training. Launch time, planned to be launched by 2030. It will be the third most prominent space station in the world after the ISS, International Space Station, and Tiangong of China. Usefulness. Long-term human research in space. Monitoring climate change and the Earth's environment. Tests of new technology and materials in microgravity. 2. Moon Space Station for the Moon. It will be placed in the orbit of the Moon and will form the basis for establishing a colony on the Moon in the future. Uses. Scientific experiments on the lunar surface. Study of water and other resources on the Moon. As a fuel and supply hub for deep space missions, such as Mars and beyond. This space station will not only make human space travel easier on the Moon, but will also give India a chance to strengthen its presence on the Moon. 3. Preparation for Mars and deep space missions. The Moon Space Station will be used as a launchpad for future missions to Mars and beyond. It will provide fuel and other necessary resources to the spacecraft. This will provide a solid foundation for the plan to establish a human settlement on Mars. India's place and contribution to space. The scheme will provide India with a strong and enduring presence towards becoming a space superpower. India will become the first country to set up a multi-location space station, putting it on par with powers like China and NASA. International cooperation. ISRO's space station can become a major hub of research and mission collaboration for other countries and private companies. It will strengthen India's position in the global space market. Technological and economic initiatives. Key technical challenges and solutions. Long-term life support systems. ISRO will have to develop life support systems for astronauts, which are suited for long-term missions. Reusable rockets and space robotic systems are being developed to supply fuel and equipment. The space station will be constructed in a modular manner, allowing it to expand and upgrade over time. Economic aspects. India's low-cost high-success strategy will continue in the space station project. Private sector participation. The investment and cooperation of private companies in the space sector will reduce costs and accelerate technology. India's future in the global space race. NASA's ISS could end service after 2030, giving India and China an edge. India's moon space station can prove to be a decisive step towards establishing a permanent colony on the moon. India will be among the leading countries in the direction of human presence in deep space. What will be the benefits for India? Scientific and technological progress. Development of new technologies and drugs in space. Using knowledge from space to improve life on Earth. Growth of space economy. The space station can be rented out to other countries and private companies, which will generate revenue for India. Space tourism will get a boost. National pride. This project will give a new identity to India and enhance its stature internationally. ISRO's vision of building a space station for both the Earth and the Moon will not only make India a strong space power, but also start a new era for space research and missions in the coming decades. This scheme symbolized the future dreams of India, which will take Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat to new heights in space. If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe.